Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is February 9th and this is my weekly shop update. So I'd like to start off by just giving you a quick announcement. I have started a show with fellow woodworker and content creator Matthew Morris of Wood Studio. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. He does some really great stuff and he's a very talented woodworker. But we started a little talk show and I'll leave a link in the description as well to the first episode so you can take a look at that and you can subscribe as well. It is going to be a back and forth talk between the two of us. We're trying to make it a really high quality, really good content show, more than just us talking about things. Although this first episode was just a one topic episode where we just had the two of us discussing our viewpoints on tool purchasing. But in the future, we want it to be more of a questions and answers and user guided. And we like to focus the show on more intermediate and advanced level woodworking, because I think that'd be pretty fun. And we both have a lot of experience, or at least he has a lot more experience than I do, in that fancier style of woodworking, or the more advanced level stuff. So if you have questions for that show, feel free to head over there, leave some questions for us, give us some topic suggestions. That'd be really appreciated by both myself and Matthew. Yeah, we both have the same name, so it's kind of interesting, but it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be, because he prefers Matthew and I prefer Matt. So nice and simple, right? I'd also thought I'd just share a couple things that I received this past week in the mail. Jonathan Conrad sent me this really awesome white oak picture frame that he made. He makes these and he sells them, and he does an amazing job with these things. This is some of the most beautiful white oak I've ever seen. He got this out of a barn. These are just some salvaged barn boards that he made this frame out of, and he did a really great job. So thank you, Jonathan, for sending this to me. I really appreciate that, and I'm really excited to put a baby picture in there, or maybe our first family photo or something cool like that. I also received a little care package from George. He sent me some really awesome little baby things. At least I think it's for a baby. I mean, I'm not going to wear this, but he sent me a really nice little package of a few bibs and some onesies. This is pretty good. See, where are the other ones? Yeah, a little onesie. I can't. It just gets me so excited. We're so excited. We got these over the weekend, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, I didn't order anything. What were we getting here? And then we opened that thing, and it was just such an amazing. It's amazing. It was just absolutely amazing experience to know that someone out there is actually thinking about us, and that just got us really excited about the baby as well. So thank you, George. We really appreciate it, and it was just totally out of the blue. So thank you so much again, George. All right, so what's going on here in the shop? Well, I got a few things this week actually. Well, if you haven't seen it already, I did the video on dovetailing a drawer, and this is that drawer right here. I have added the bottom to it, but this one turned out really nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. As I showed in the video, it's not, they're not perfect dovetails, but I think they're pretty decent, I don't know, for a drawer. And then this week here, I will be dovetailing the other two and getting those done and ready to go. But the drawer took me like 6 hours or so to dovetail together, and that's just because I was filming it. Normally, I had that question in the comments of that video, was how long does it typically take me to make a dovetail joint, or how long does it take me to make a drawer? And a drawer about this size will probably take me about an hour and 15 minutes start to finish if I'm really in the zone. And the half blind dovetails would probably take me around 20 minutes or so a piece, and then the through dovetails would take me about 10 or 15 minutes or so. So once you get going, it's at least it feels like a pretty fast process, and it's pretty enjoyable. So other than that though, the more exciting thing I was working on this week was the gooseneck molding to go on top of the scroll board there on the upper case. And that was a very exciting experience once I finally got into it, but there's a lot of setup that was involved to get to the point before you could actually start making a molding. So this is a template of the left side of the scroll board. I made this before I attached the scroll board to the case, so I had this for this process, so it'd be easier. And the first thing I needed to do was create a template of a template with the correct offset. Is it this one? Yeah. So I needed an offset of the thickness of the molding. So I created a little wheel here to basically just trace out, actually it'd be this way. Nope. Oh, that's right. So the wheel would create the bottom profile of the molding that would run along the bottom, or I guess it'd be the bottom half of the molding. So using the wheel against the other template, I could create this one. And then to create the actual molding itself, I needed the other side of this template. So I needed the, I guess it'd be the negative of this template. So I had to create another template. And that would just kind of nest together. And this is the template here that I could use to actually prepare my stock for the moldings themselves. And that was just a really simple process of building up the stock. I ended up being at 2 3/4 inches thick on the stock for this. And then I used a flush trim and pattern bit to route the stock to this profile here. And then the fun could start. So if you were lucky enough, or you saw it today, I decided to play around with this whole idea, this whole thing of live broadcasting. So I've live broadcasted me routing the molding so far. And I'm not done with it yet. I have them still attached to my table. I just stuck the stock down to the table with some carpet tape or two-sided tape, and then I routed it with this cool little jiggy thing here. What was that? Oh, screw. So this is the jig that I used to actually make the molding. It's got a little following pin that rides along the side of the molding, and then you can just kind of route and kind of freehand your way around it. And what you're trying to do with this thing is keep this whole jig perpendicular to the face that you're routing. So as you're going around those curves, you kind of have to keep steering it around just to keep it nice and square. But it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to keep this thing relatively square. So I have some shots of me actually setting up the bits and doing all the routing. I first started out by using a 1/2 inch spiral bit to remove a lot of the waste, just to give myself a little bit of a head start. And then I switched to this 1.5 inch diameter round nose bit, and that worked pretty well until I ran out of depth travel on my router. So that's why I picked up a collet extension. And if you ever run into a situation like these collet extensions are really nice. The one that I picked up this week was from CMT, and it's actually really well machined. They're kind of expensive. They're like 40 bucks, but when I got it, I can kind of understand why. It's really heavy and it has no run out in it. I thought it'd be a little bit more, there'd be a lot more vibration because the bit would be so much, because that bit would be so much further down or hanging down from the router. But the vibration level was the same from when I had the bit directly in the router and then when I had it in the collet extension. So that collet is pretty much perfect and it doesn't add any more vibration to the system, which was really nice because that was it's kind of scary to have that bit. It's like 2 inches below the base plate of the router or more. So yeah, but it went really well so far. I have a lot of the molding roughed out, and that's taken me a little over 2 hours of just pretty much solid routing the whole time. And I probably have another good hour left of router work, and then I'm going to have to clean this whole profile up with a card scraper or a gooseneck scraper and some sandpaper just to get my profiles, spot on and blended. The other way you can make this molding is by buying a set of custom-made router bits, and that'll run you about 400 bucks. Honestly, if you do this a lot, if you do this probably more than once or twice, totally worth it because you'd save so much time. A custom router bit would probably take you, I don't know, like half an hour to route this out and be done with it. So there's definitely a lot of time saving there. So if you do it a few times or you do a few runs of this molding, definitely worth that investment. But 400 bucks is a lot of money. And I'm just doing this for fun. If I was doing this for a production kind of thing, then yeah, I would definitely consider it. Or I wouldn't consider it, I would do it. So with that live broadcasting thing, I'm going to be doing that again. Today, Monday, February 9th, was just a test. I thought, let me get on there and see how hard it is to get that thing set up and going. And it wasn't exactly the most intuitive thing. ever, but I think I got it going okay. So tomorrow, which is the 10th of February, I'll be doing another live session here in the shop, and I'll be doing the other 2 drawers for this case on that show or that live event, and that's probably going to be a little more interactive. It was kind of hard for me because I was using the router and it's really loud, and I'm trying to do that, and I couldn't really be involved with the people in the audience. So this, I think the drawer dovetailing will be a little more interactive, a little more interesting for the viewers than just watching me run a router for 2 hours. A little less boring. So I have one question I want to answer from my dust collection video, and I thought it was a really good one. The question was about static and the metal ducting. If I get static, or if there's a way for me to ground it, or how does that work? Well, the nice thing about doing metal ducting is it's metal, so it conducts electricity. So the whole system itself can be grounded at one point. And in the case of this dust collector, that point is where it connects to the actual collector. The collector itself is grounded through the electrical system on the motor. The body of the dust collector is. So in turn, because the piping is touching the dust collector, it's actually grounded. So my whole system is technically grounded because the dust collector itself is connected to the ground of my electrical panel. So that's about it this week. If you haven't already checked out my new website, head over there and take a look, subscribe to the email newsletter so you can keep up with everything that's going on. I know I've been posting a lot of stuff lately, so it's been kind of hard for people to always be on top of what's going on. So if you miss anything, this is a great way to see everything I did for the last week all in one shot. Also, head over and check out the new show. Tell me what you think. It's really rough right now, I think. It's going to have a little more refinement as we go. A lot of that thing was figuring out the logistics of everything with how to set up an actual conversation where we can talk to each other, but also record it with the cameras at the same time. So it was a learning experience, and a few problems were had. Like I'm out of focus for some odd reason. I don't know why. How I missed that, I don't know. But the content's good. I think it's a really great discussion. Head over there, let me know your thoughts about that. Send me your topic suggestions, or send us your topic suggestions, and all that good stuff. So I think that's about it this week. Thank you, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have questions or comments about anything I talked about today, or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I appreciate those. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And yes, I'm behind on comments and emails. I'll probably be hitting that pretty hard tomorrow morning and get caught back up. So if you're waiting for a response from me, tomorrow morning will probably be when you get it. And until next time, happy woodworking.